there! Today's video is on the 7 best things about living in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm going to share those with you today, and hopefully you'll find some of those as a really cool reason to make that move here to Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'm getting after it right now. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, play here, then click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do new videos. I've been getting a ton of people that are just like you that are reaching out to me about making that move here to Salt Lake City, Utah, or surrounding city, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to talk to you about your journey here to Salt Lake City. The number one best thing about living in Salt Lake City, Utah is the outdoor activities that you have access to in the greater Salt Lake City area. This is a major reason that I love living here in Salt Lake City, Utah. You can pretty much do everything in the outdoors except things that require an ocean. So we have great mountains for biking, hiking. We have 10 major summit hikes if you're an extreme hiker, with Kings Peak being like the number one place to go. We have fishing, both lakes, reservoirs, and some amazing fly fishing in our rivers here. There are tons of camping places that you can go to, from mountains out to the desert. We have boating, kayaking, paddleboarding, and paddleboarding is one of my favorite things to do with me and my family. We will go to a place called Deer Creek Reservoir, which I hate to share with you, but you need to go there if you move here to the Salt Lake City area. It's absolutely fun, and we go there multiple times every summer, and we take the kids in the canopy, and we set up right at the shoreline, and then we can paddleboard and swim and kayak all in the Deer Creek Reservoir there. It's amazing. It's something you have to do when you live here. You also have some amazing 4x4 adventures that you can take place here in Salt Lake City. There's places up north of Salt Lake and south. There's a place called 5 Mile Pass that I go to with my Jeep all the time. I even got texted this morning to go with one of my realtor buddies who wants to go out and go jeeping. However, today is my video day, so I'm not going. But you can take your 4x4 side by side and have some amazing fun out there. Your dirt bikes, all of that out at 5 Mile Pass. And then you have some of the best 4x4 place in the world, which is in Moab. And that's about a 3.5 hour drive from Salt Lake City, which we go every April to Easter Jeep Safari, and we'll do a couple trails there. It's so much fun. It's got to be on your list. You can rent a Jeep there if you don't own one, or if you have some sort of 4x4, but it's awesome. You also have 5 national parks in Utah to go see. Haven't been to see any of those myself yet, but those are on the list to see. Hopefully we can get one of them tackled this summer. And there's just so many things that you're going to be able to do in the outdoors. If you could comment below what your favorite thing is to do in the outdoors. The number 2 thing on my list is fun things to do in or near Salt Lake City. So I'm just going to read them to you. But you can go to the Bonneville Salt Flats, the Clark Planetarium, Antelope Island, Temple Square, Dinosaur Park. You can paraglide at the point at the mountain in Draper. You can bring your kids to the Treehouse Museum, the Utah Museum of Contemporary Art, the Lagoon Amusement Park, Cowabunga Bay Water Park, Sequest, Utah, the Weber River, where you can go rafting down that river. I think it's like a Class 2 rapids. Visit the International Peace Gardens at Jordan Park. You can kayak at Deer Creek Reservoir, which I mentioned already. That's super cool to go do. The Cathedral at Madeline, Heritage Park, and then Loveland Living Planet Aquarium. And then there's a ton more things. So there are lots of fun things for you to do in and around Salt Lake City. The third best thing about living in Salt Lake City, Utah is the weather. And why I say the weather is you have summertime where it can get hot, it can get into the hundreds. Typically stays in the 90s, but this is amazing and allows you to do all the outdoor activities you want to go do. And then if you want to escape the heat, you just go up into the mountains. Park City is a great place to go to escape the heat. It is much, much cooler up there. And then all the different hikes and stuff that you're going to be able to do is just awesome. Fall time, you get cooler temperatures and the changing of the leaves. The colors of the leaves are amazing. I recommend you do some of the amazing drives you can do during the fall time. The American Fork Canyon, Bountiful Peak Drive, Parley's Canyon, Big Cottonwood Canyon. There's so many different drives that you could do. And once you live here, you're going to find some of your own favorites to go do. Some of them, are like a 2-mile trip that takes you an hour to do because of the amount of cars. But it's super cool and definitely worth it. We do it once a year during that 2-3 week window when the leaves are changing. We'll go take the drive and just enjoy and soak it all in. Wintertime, we have snow skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and much, much more. Pretty much anything that you can do in the snow, you can do here. We have the best snow on earth here in Utah. We have 11 ski resorts near Salt Lake City to go to: Alton, Brighton, Deer Valley, Park City, Snowbird, Solitude, Woodward Park City, Nordic Valley, Powder Mountain, Snow Basin, Sundance, Beaver Mountain, and Cherry Peak. Down south, you have Brian Head and Eagle Point. We have this new ski resort coming right next to Deer Valley called Mayflower. So what's your favorite place to ski near Salt Lake City? Comment below. So that touches on the weather just a little bit, but the weather here is amazing. My only negative for the weather is that it does get cold and stays cold longer than what I'm used to or would like. However, once it hits spring, it's awesome through fall. The number 4 best thing about living in Salt Lake City, Utah is the sports. And we have the NBA team, the Utah Jazz. So if you're an NBA fan, you have that to enjoy. If you're an MLS soccer fan, we have the Real Salt Lake. We have a AAA baseball team called the Salt Lake Bees, and they are moving to Daybreak in South Jordan at some point over the next 2 years. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but they are relocating, and they will be right off the red line of the track system. So it'll be really convenient for you to get to pretty much no matter where you live in the greater Salt Lake area. You could take the tracks to it or just drive on Mountain View Corridor. ECHL ice hockey. We have the Utah Grizzlies, which is a Colorado Avalanche farm team. They're working on trying to bring an NHL team here or get an expansion team, which would be amazing because ice hockey is my favorite sport. For football, you have the University of Utah, which has made it to the Rose Bowl the last 2 years, and they lost. And then we have BYU. So you have 2 great football teams to watch if you're into football. No NFL team, which I don't see that happening anytime soon. Rugby, we have a team called the Utah Warriors. If you're a rugby team, they play in the Major League Rugby League. The number 5 best reason for living in Salt Lake City, Utah is the job market. Here are some of the top places that you can work that are near Salt Lake City. You have Health Catalyst, OC Tanner, CHG Healthcare, Fidelity Investments, Big D Construction, Lending Club, 1-800-CONTACTS, Select Health, Zions Bank, Go Health, Skull Candy, Redstone, and so many more companies. So you're going to be able to find a job for sure. Let's look at the unemployment rates of the U.S. and of Utah. 3.6% unemployment rate across the entire U.S. 6 million unemployed people, 2 million unemployed on insurance claims. And then Utah's rate is 2.3%, 42,000 unemployed people, and 11,000 unemployment insurance claims. So as you can see, Utah ranks really, really high as far as unemployment rates go, especially according to the U.S., we're way below them. So if you're looking for a job, you can definitely get a job in the Salt Lake City area. There are so many more companies that I didn't even list. We have a place called Silicon Slopes in Lehi, Utah, where there are dozens of tech startup companies. I know every time I drive by, I see the Adobe building and my kids point it out. And so just Utah is a great place for you to get a job. The number 6 best thing about living in Salt Lake City, Utah is taxes. We have a flat tax here, 4.65%, a corporate tax of 4.65%. Property taxes are really, really low here at 0.52% roughly, and that's going to vary all over. So we'll need to look into that if that's important to you, but different cities and different counties have different prices here. Sales tax, 6.1%, plus they can have an additional fee on top of that, so it just depends where you choose to live. And then one other thing to make note is Social Security is taxed here, but check into this because it's based on your income, so you may or may not be taxed on it, but just know that you could be. So that's number 6. The number 7 thing on the list was a bonus for us living here. It wasn't a big deal for us to make that move here, but using the Salt Lake City airport after living here, I've flown back and forth between Nashville quite a bit, and It's a 15-minute drive from Salt Lake City, Utah to get to the airport. You can see it here located on the map where it's located in relation to all the different cities, but it's a 30-minute job. But the airport is a 30-minute drive from millions of jobs and a bunch of different cities. So it's amazing as far as that goes. Delta flies from the Salt Lake City airport direct to a bunch of different cities: Southwest, United, JetBlue, Frontier, Spirit, American, and a few other airlines fly out of Salt Lake City. But it's an amazing airport. It has some great places for you to eat at, like Shake Shack, Panera Bread, Pickup Sticks, and a bunch of other places that are super good. And the reason that I like the airport is it's super convenient to get to. You have a special lot that you sit in to wait. So whenever I have to pick anybody up from the airport, I can just grab one of the spots there. And it's a giant parking lot for you to wait at. And then you can get to the terminal in about a minute or so from there. So it's super nice and easy. And then getting around the airport, it's super nice and quick, other than when you have Terminal B. And Terminal B means you have the mile walk, or you're taking the walking pathways, or they have like a shuttle cart thing, or you can get wheelchair access as well. But that's the only real negative, is if you're in Terminal B. And if you get there ahead of time, it's not really an issue. The bonus thing I wanted to share with you is I've been getting a bunch of emails and texts from people that are looking to move to Salt Lake City, and they were concerned, what if I'm not Mormon? Is that a big deal living here? And I can tell you, after being here 2 years now, that you aren't going to have any sort of issue being non-Mormon. They're going to try to get you to go to church, but once you get past that initial stage, then that goes away. And that was the same sort of thing that we dealt with when we moved to Nashville. Everybody would ask what church we go to and then try and get us to go to their church. So just know that that may be a little bit off-putting when you're first here, when people try to get you to go to the church. But once you kind of let them know that, that sort of goes away. As far as having children, I have 2 of them that have been in schools here, and elementary school, middle school, and high school, and they have no issue that they've ever brought up about not being Mormon or being accepted by the other kids. I think kids nowadays just don't really care. In the past, I think it was completely different, but now it's not. So hopefully you enjoyed this video today. And if you're looking to make that move here to Salt Lake City and you want more information, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Let's get you scheduled for our Zoom strategy session and get you on your way to moving here to Salt Lake City. Until next time, be rad.